camera in about stage.
Michelle is ready. Everybody is ready.
All right.
Wait. We're ready for what? Sidebar?
Apparently.
We're
Whatever
ready.
we're
I think we're
talking
doing
about tonight.
Sidebar, or maybe it's TCF Live. I don't know.
It is only Tuesday, remember?
Who called this
Oh, yeah.
sidebar?
Well, we may not be here Tuesday, so we're going to have to make up for it and have like a doubly good show. Just, more work.
Tuesday's just another Thursday. I don't know.
Yeah,
start
Tuesdays
with
and
T.
Thursdays go together.
Yeah.
They're the same
What
thing.
are days? What are days?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sidebar.
Good evening.
I'm Michael Groff. That over there is Bailey, and down there, at least from my perspective, there's Lindsay, and over there, catty corner, is Ashley, and the executive producer of this program off screen over there is the one and only Michelle. So we are locked, loaded, ready to go for another edition on a Thursday, the 30th of October, Halloween Eve. Very scary. And tonight, my voice pending, we're gonna be talking about we've kind of been touching on it all week. We sort of touched on it the other night. We've gone to Louisiana on TCF Live this week with the Board of Pardons and Paroles. Paroles, commuting of sentences, those kinds of things, victim impact statements, all kind of tied in together. And we're going to kind of wrap it up into a nice bow on tonight's show, among other things. There's lots of ways we can go when we sort of discussed what we were going to talk about the other night. And this episode might get a little spicy, potentially.
Yeah, I think we have some differing opinions, but we're going to talk it out and see what's going to go down. Yeah,
I think so. And so, last time Bailey said he didn't want to go first, so we had to draw the straws, and Ashley went first.
Are you about to make me go first right now?
So I think it's only fair this time.
Bailey's having a shit.
I think it's only fair this time, Bailey, that now you have to go first and said, well, I mean, I guess it could be me, but I'm hosting and I've talked enough this week. So you know what? Bailey, start us off with this.
The state of Arizona gave me a bachelor's in science and political science. I think I should be able to put a couple of sentences together.
Well,
so we see these hearings, these parole hearings, where folks who have been incarcerated, at some point, the legislature has said they get an out. They at some point during their sentencing, they get a hearing in front of an administration that is from a completely separate branch of government, the executive branch, the governor's branch. So they get a hearing. So we see these hearings where, hey, you might get out a little early. There's going to be conditions on you getting out. My biggest question that sits with me is, when is enough enough? Because some of these people that I think who have been serving, let's say, 25 years, and they are denied, it raises questions, a lot of questions with me. And I would love to be able to talk with all of you. Like, when is enough enough? How much time does it take to serve out a certain case, or, when's enough enough? So that's how I'm kicking it off, Mike. Now I'm passing it off to you guys.
Well, the justice system is designed to balance punishment, rehabilitation, and public safety. Yeah. In my opinion, emotional statements from outside people, or not outside, but victim impact statements, might upset this balance by prioritizing victim feelings over evidence. Yeah. So my problem, I think Bailey and I are on the same page, maybe, that I know they can be emotional. And I know if they serve the majority of the time, let's say they serve like 30 years or so out of a total of 40 or 50, do they deserve that chance without meeting so much opposition from the victims' families or the victims themselves? And yeah.
And I guess if I didn't make that clear in my argument, is the victim impact statements, it's like, well, I don't know, it really just amplifies. To me, there should be, I wrote this down, a presumption of rehabilitation with a question mark.
Yeah.
That was in my notes. That's what I wrote down, is like, we have this thing called a presumption of innocence, right? And we know that concept. We all know that concept. But I was wondering and theorizing about this other concept of a presumption of rehabilitation. If we're going to be sending folks into the system, and there's going to be victim impact statements and all of this and all of that, I mean, shouldn't the board actually lean into releasing some of these folks or not? Should there be, like, again, a presumption of rehab that, hey, I did all these programs, I did this, I have this work program, I'm allowed to be released on this, and I've been trustworthy for like ever. But then a victim impact statement comes in, and then boom, it's like,
are out the
because
door or
I was
something,
broken, I was busted up, and my heart was broken and devastated 25 years ago, legitimately, in a very serious crime. Usually these are capital murder cases. People's lives have been lost. My goodness. But when's enough enough?
And
when is enough enough? Well, for me, Bailey, when it's a murder case, enough will be enough when the person that was murdered rises from the dead. That's when enough is enough. You took away somebody from my family. You get to keep on living. It's neat that you finally found God, or you finally did whatever it is that you did. And you got all, oh, you went to prison and now you're educated and now you know better. Hey, maybe it was time for you to realize that about 5 seconds before you pulled the trigger or did whatever you did. If you get a life sentence, to me, that's a life sentence. You get to stay in there for life. There are certain punishments that I think, sure, we can rehabilitate and we should be able to bring people out. I mean, I get it. Somebody goes to prison for 20 years for something like drugs or for fraud or for whatever. Yeah. That's different. I mean, it is still, in terms of fraud, there's still a victim, and I get it, but nobody's dead, right? When you're talking about murder, it's a different story. And when we're talking, and like, let me give you a couple of examples. So this week, we went to the Louisiana Board of Pardons Paroles. We had a couple of people up for, they wanted their sentences commuted. One gentleman, he was married to this lady, and he found out that, well, their relationship was on the rocks. It was headed for divorce. But anyway, he thought, out. Yep. This was this guy thought that his wife was cheating on him and with somebody else. And turns out that she may or may not have been whatever. They found them hanging out together. So he did what any normal, rational person would do in that situation, and he shot both of them dead.
Oh, no.
And he's been in prison since 1998.
Johnny Cash album right there.
And I don't know how many of you saw it, but his, what I should have done was had a video clip here so you could see. But this guy, he's like, well, yeah, I done shot him because I thought she was cheating on me. And it turned out I saw them together. So, I had my pistol with me that I always keep. Yeah, I saw them kiss.
That was the thing. And that's what sent him.
And then I got into, and I had my pistol with me, which I always have for protection. And then I done shot him. We got into an argument, and then I shot him. And that was it. And then he, basically, the they ask him, so what have you done while you've been in prison, right? Like, what have you learned? And he said something like, well, I guess I learned that I should have chosen a better partner, something like that.
Someone like that, Michael, that's who I don't want released. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they haven't done anything in the panelists' eyes to deserve being released.
Well, then they're like, well, what classes have you taken? What did you take any class? He's like, well, I took the basic class. They told me to take 100 hours of something, whatever it was.
Anger management.
But it wasn't victim impact. It wasn't like the victim impact course that they tell you to take. And it wasn't like, it certainly wasn't anything that had to do with understanding or gaining empathy in any way.
Right.
I laughed because it was so upset. And the guy seemed, dumber than a box of hammers. But I mean, it was like, it was just crazy that this guy he just didn't get it. And they pretty much told him, no, you haven't even done any sort of victim. You don't seem to be all that remorseful. And he sure didn't seem to be. He was almost glad that he did it in a sense.
That's the read you got? Said he was glad he did it? Because I got a different read.
Glad? Okay, maybe not, glad maybe isn't the word.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry that it happened.
But he wasn't sorry he did it. Maybe.
Sorry that it happened is like, I'm sorry that I did that, but I'm not really sorry that my cheating ex-wife is dead.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry that I did it that way and now I'm in prison.
Yeah.
Like so I won't say he was glad. But that was definitely the read I got out of it was there was no remorse. Let's put it that way. Except for remorse that he's been sitting in prison for 27 years. Right. He was upset about that.
Right.
So that's one case. So let me just real quick. So then the other case, and so then there was another guy who had two brutal sexual assaults of two separate people. And he had been in for some number of years. I don't know. And he was not particularly articulate, which is fine. I mean, even the parole board is like, well, you're a man of few words, but why don't you try to tell us why we should let you? And he's just like, well, I found God and I did some classes, but he didn't really seem to have a real grasp. Again, he was another guy who's like, well, I feel bad. But it didn't come across as like this remorse. And it certainly didn't come across like he wouldn't do it again. Or maybe he wouldn't. But I wouldn't let somebody out on a maybe. So I just think, and especially in cases of sexual assault, especially when we're talking about if it's children. In this case, it wasn't. But I am very, very reluctant to ever let those people out. So that's where I stand with this. I know people are like forgive and forget, but I know this makes me a petty person, but I'm not. It's hard for me to forgive stuff like that.
Fair.
Fraud, I can forgive. Theft, I can forgive. A lot of things I can. That's rape and murder. I have a hard time forgiving and forgetting.
Lindsay, what do you say?
I'm so many minds on this topic. You come back to the question of when is enough enough? And I honestly think for some of these people who have lost a loved one, lost the opportunity to know a loved one, I don't think enough is ever enough. I think though in their eyes, that person, I don't get my loved one back, you shouldn't get yours back. We hear that a lot. Like I don't get to get a phone call once a week or, a visit through glass once a week. I go to a headstone. No. We hear that a lot from people. So for those folks, enough is never going to be enough. It just becomes a case of how often do you want to re-traumatize yourself to come back and relive the story, face the guy again? What good does that do?
Yeah.
That's always a question I ask myself. Like, what good is this whole proceeding doing other than we're dragging the perpetrator back out, we're re-traumatizing, the victim's family. In some cases, maybe even re-traumatizing a victim if it wasn't necessarily a case where someone died.
Mm.
So
I wonder
the
if
whole
it's-
operation to me, like, it's really fascinating to watch, but I never feel good after watching it. Just like, it's just kind of, to excuse my phrasing, it's kind of trauma porn in a way. Like, you get to hear this family just like despondent at the idea of this person being back out in the real world. You get the family of the perpetrator, pleading the case of like, they're not a bad person. It was one thing, and look at all they good, and they've accepted the blood of Christ, and they're now wrapped in the blanket of Jesus, and it's all going to be fine because they're going to go to church with me. And yeah,
That's a built-in Bailey rant right there.
Yeah.
Right. So I know.
I don't have
know
one
you're
train of thought. I have 7 trains of thought. So I'm kind of just encouraged to discuss this out and kind of see if I can bring it to one cohesive point. But I'm all over the place on this one. They're given the right to plead their case for parole. They absolutely should do it, and absolutely the victim's family should have a chance to come up and say yes or no, and their feedback should weigh heavily. I just often wonder how much that sways the parole board outside of, just the evidence of this is everything they've done in prison to rehabilitate themselves. Right. This is, their behavior record. They've served the minimum or the X amount of their sentence. Should they, yes or no?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I think this is an example of the separation of powers, folks.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They got convicted by a jury of their peers. That's under one branch. Then they got put in. Mm-hmm. Now they have this other branch of government that says, hey, we broke this law in that says we can give clemency or parole and we can get people out of these things because maybe the jury, maybe the judicial system might be too powerful. And so we want the executive to have this little tool in its back pocket. And what we do is a panel of 3 or 5, depending on the severity of your case, this opportunity for you to kind of get a bailout. These victim impact statements come in. You get a hearing. To me, it's like whether there is a unfavorable witness impact statement hearing for you, I'm very sorry. You still got this hearing, dude. Like, you were sentenced for 20. You got this hearing at 13. And I don't know. I have tons of feelings. Like, I almost want to disagree with myself just for what I just said, because I think victim impact statements these witness and these are witnesses. These are family members who maybe necessarily were not there for the crime that had occurred. They didn't see this. They're just impacted by this. Excuse me, I don't mean to kind of speak loosely, but yes, these are people who have lost family members, and I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you guys. I don't think either. Because it's important for victims to be heard. I understand that. I have a problem with, because the purpose of a parole hearing is to assess whether the person has genuinely changed and ready to re-enter society safely. If decisions are only centered on the past pain rather than rehabilitation, I think that's when we have a problem. Because I see I see a few cases, not all of them, nothing like that. But I see a few cases where they do everything right. They take all the classes they need. They present themselves well in front of the panel. But there's strong opposition against either law enforcement or from the victims that they get denied parole. And that's what I have a problem with.
I definitely agree there. I mean, we kind of joke in the chat when we watch these cases, like when they come on and say we have opposition from law enforcement. It's like, okay, that's the case is cooked. Just slap up the denied and let's move on.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely should be taken into account. But that is also, I think, the job of law enforcement is to, enforce the law. And this is someone that broke it. So they're going to oppose it. But I feel like that opposition comes in even before the cases had the guys had a chance to plead his case. We've heard from the warden, anything had happened. So I'm just curious where that opposition comes from, if they just automatically submit it ahead of time, or if they get the information on the inmate. Like, that's a question I'd really love answered, because we always
That's a
hear
really great question.
That's a good
Yeah.
question.
always
Because they,
hear it.
ha-
And of course
they like
don't
go
want their-
into it
Yeah.
like they have
Yeah.
predetermined thoughts already
Exactly.
about
Exactly.
this, and
Exactly.
they already have their biases.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we know, obviously, the victim's family is going to have a bias. It's a rare case, a very rare case where someone comes in. It's like, I think we heard one earlier this summer where the guy came in, he pled his case out. He said he had found Jesus. And the guy goes, well, he's accepted Jesus and Jesus forgave all our sins. So I
that was
forgive this
wrong.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I do
can
remember
kind of
that.
respect if that is his faith, but with my eyes rolled so hard, I saw the back of my skull. Like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But just based
No
on that
disrespect to people of
alone is
faith. Hi,
not.
Dan, if you're watching. But yeah, just like, I
No,
lost my train of
Dan's
thought
the one
entirely,
that said
but-
he had a lot of thoughts about that case,
Yeah.
because he was like,
Yeah.
he was opposed to that, because
Yeah.
the only reason why they were letting him out was because
the God stuff.
the God stuff. He
Yeah.
didn't really prove anything else.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've noticed that's kind of on my radar is, like, just because you get law enforcement support, it seems like it's an automatic get out, like, approved card. It's an approved.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed in the last 2 days watching TCF Live is we've been seeing a lot of approve when they got that banner behind them and there's law enforcement support. And, you know, it doesn't, I don't know if I heard any opposition, like witness testimony opposition, but because they had that law enforcement support card in their hand, it seemed like these people just get a ticket, like a green ticket.
Yeah,
you
rubber
get it.
stamp.
A
Except
golden
for
ticket.
except for Miss Ledoux.
Yeah.
Well, most of the board is comprised of ex-law enforcement. We looked
Yeah.
at this.
Right.
And that I also am questioning too. Like, they are even though they are retired from law enforcement, they still know people in law enforcement.
Right.
That's how I know they know things before even the parole hearing, if the law enforcement's in opposition or not, or whatever. But that's just a theory. But I don't know. I don't know if they're the right people to be evaluating this in the first place, because
Who would you
they're-
recommend then, Ashley? Just out of curiosity.
that I
Not
don't
pushing
know.
you. Okay.
That I don't know. We would have to talk it out. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That person was arrested by law enforcement, and now they're being released by law enforcement too.
All right. That is a great way. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good way of looking at it.
That's funky. Yes.
It kind of makes me
Interesting.
question things a little bit more.
Yeah, to me, it's like, I understand there's a board that is evaluating this,
Yeah.
but at the same time, law enforcement is coming in, and if I've got my buddy, I think one of the witnesses that came in that testified was a chief of police or a retired chief of police.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've got a retired chief of police in my back pocket, I guess in Louisiana, I can get out of, jail a little early. But other people who don't have that,
Yeah.
is it kind of prejudicial? Or if I don't have God on my back and I'm not convincing them, because that one old lady, she loves her.
She loves herself a good redemption through Christ's story.
She thumps a little
The
bit of
redemption
paper.
arc through Christ is strong
I
with
love
her.
She's doing a great job.
Yeah.
But yes, you are right, Ashley and Lindsay, that their backgrounds are in law enforcement. If you look at their CVs, just do some digging. Yes.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on all this too. It's kind of one of those. It's like the Lindsay multi trains of thought, because there are times where we see people in there that again, especially on non-murder cases, right? And
Right.
they've taken all the classes. They've they've not only have they, if they didn't have a high school education, they got that. They got a college education, a trade. They've worked. They've done all these other things. There's basically nothing else for them to do. I mean, at that point, how do you not parole those people when they've done, especially when they went in there and they didn't have a prior criminal record?
Right.
That's the other, and oftentimes those people do get paroled, but I've seen occasionally where they don't, and they don't even really have a lot of jail write-ups or anything. And
Right.
No.
so there are these weird situations, and just to talk out of both sides of my mouth, I know sometimes people will get sentenced, to 20 years because they had 5 kilos of coke or something, but at some point it's 12 years in, they've turned their life around, they've become educated, they were doing maybe they were a drug mule at 19 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They're young. Maybe they were young.
And I it's like, come on, man. At some point, I think you gotta. Nobody died. They did everything. The point of the Parole and Pardons Board, and they're supposed to be there for, at least in part, for the idea of rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And the concept that our justice system should be, yes, there should be some punishment, but rehabilitation, I think, should be a top priority if possible. And again, there are cases, where it's not. And then it just has to be a punishment or more of a protection from society sort of thing. But so I don't know. That's one of those things where that does boggle my mind. I mean, I go there, when I know, and Dan is the same way when he hosts the show, that we go to the Louisiana Board of Pardons and Paroles because it is interesting. It's interesting
Really
to see how they come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can also be quite frustrating.
And is it only the Louisiana? Is it only Louisiana? Is my question too, because Louisiana is the only one that really airs their parole hearings. I haven't seen any other
states have it as well. Texas has most of these states do have a board for pardons and paroles and commutations.
But do they air it? Do they live stream it? Is my question. But I don't think so.
Don't know that many do. I think we would have found it by now.
I kind of want, for me to make a decisive answer tonight, I would like to watch how different states handle and
Michelle says you want a bigger sample size.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to see how someone not in a highly religious area of the country really handles it.
Yeah. How do they do it up there in Montana?
I have
arguably as religious, but maybe with a slightly different accent.
Maybe.
My concern's a little different. Mine is all of these hearings, not all of them, but most of these hearings, there's a representative that's saying, hey, we're going to accept them into our program for rehabilitation.
Project.
And I looked them up, and it's called the paroleproject.org. And I see that 651 clients have successfully been served since 2016. Now, that has me concerned, this is a nonprofit that, we know nonprofits make a profit. That's a tax thing, nonprofit. But that had me concerned is there's a whole industry serving these parolees that make money off of trying to rehab all of these folks. To me, it seems a little dirty. Does that feel a little dirty?
Yeah, they got to make that money,
wrong?
Bailey. It does. It feels a little gross.
They're
It
trying
feels a little
to.
gross. Yeah.
Well, if they're profiting off of it, it does feel gross. actually.
And I'm sure a lot of that is tax dollars going in there, and you can send in donations. They're asking for donations right now. And those people, when we see that person who's sitting there representing these people and saying, look, we're going to get them into, and look, it seems like a great project. It's a nonprofit organization that helps formerly incarcerated men and women rebuild their lives through transitional housing, employment support programming, and services. We are committing to meeting their needs. Okay.
That's not a bad thing. At least,
That's not a bad
on paper,
thing.
it isn't.
I
No.
think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
It just seems odd to me that that's
Part of parole.
I don't know. It seems, I don't know. Yeah. We got to make money off it. I don't know. Anyway, this is like a sidebar to the sidebar. So
It
That's
is
a
and
good
it
point.
isn't.
That's a good
I mean,
point.
it's, it's very relevant though, Bailey. I mean, that's, so I guess this is one of those topics that for sure we're not going to solve anything tonight. That's I think we could all come to that conclusion very easily. We almost kind of solved something the other day, but this is one of those. I don't know if there is a way to resolve this because I think it's a matter of perspective. It's easy for us to sit here and say, you're a bastard or you're great. Or, you've done everything. But when you're the victim if you're the victim or if you're a family of the victim, it's a much different story. But again, as I mentioned earlier, just because I am a cold-hearted SOB doesn't mean that other people are or should be. And I do think that in those victim impacts or when they talk to the families and they say, you know what, I forgive the guy or the lady. I think that should weigh heavily, especially if the victim who is alive, if it's a victim that was again, a victim of fraud or, even a victim of sexual assault, but they say, look, man, I've had 20 years to think about it. I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. And as long as it wasn't a child situation or whatever, and that person doesn't have a big criminal history. I mean, the context matters, right? So then I think that should weigh more heavily. If you're going to consider it for one side, if you're going to consider a victim impact for how it could be a mitigating or an aggravating factor, you need to consider it for how it could be a mitigating factor as well.
Yeah.
So
I
live by the
understand.
sword, die by the sword, sort of thing.
I would like to see the family statements require something more than emotional outpouring, I guess is kind of where I'm coming to it. Like, we see them come in and say, you shouldn't get out because I'll never get my dad back. Fair argument. But if we see someone who comes in who this was the first crime they did, they've taken most, if not all, the classes. They haven't had any write-ups, and they've served the portion of their sentence that they were told to serve before they were eligible. This lack of forgiveness shouldn't be what keeps them in the facility. And that's where I really struggle. Is I've seen kind of how holding on to something like this can negatively impact your life, like as the person holding on to it. I'm not saying not be sad that this happened to your loved one. I'm saying, like, at some point you need to work through that to have a less of an emotional response.
But as a contrarian, I get it. Yeah. As a contrarian, though, this person was sentenced to this many years. They're getting a break by potentially getting parole. So if you look at it that way,
that was a decision of the judge to they have the eligibility at this point. It's also a decision of, what other bodies.
Right. And if
I just don't like that the victim's family gets to override these decisions.
And that's it's not guaranteed.
If it's just the victim's family or, if it's just that, and everybody else is on board, law enforcement says it's cool, everybody else seems to be okay, and the warden and the parole projects, as Bailey talked about, all these other people are on their side, you know,
Yeah.
at some point, then you go, look, you've been in for,
Yeah.
you know, you were sentenced to 25, you were parole eligible at 15 or 18, and you've done this
Yeah.
time. You've been a you know, model prisoner, so to speak.
Yeah.
You've done what you needed to do. There's really nothing else in here for you to do. At this point, we're just keeping you in because it's punitive.
Yeah.
That's when you should say, okay, get out. And you can still have conditions on them, of course.
These guys are re-entering
Right.
society with like no chains on them. I mean, they have to follow very, very strict guidelines.
It's like
but they get to eat a real meal and not wear, you know,
yes. Yes.
and not eat a nutritional loaf.
And take a normal shower.
Yeah.
It's kind of like deferred adjudication in a way.
Yeah.
They're kind of acting like the same way. Just having those chains on you, and maybe those chains are tight and maybe they're loose. I don't know.
Yeah.
And those chains.
The thought that just came to me too is if the guy doing, you know, 90 days in county for, you know, simple possession gets good time, and we just let him back out on the streets. I guess the guy that's, you know, serving 25 and has done everything asked of him.
Well, and then there's the good time as well. There's parole, then there's good time, which is basically like, hey, you get let out at this point, regardless of what a parole board says. You just get let out as long as you've done what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, because what most people don't realize is that if you're sentenced to 20 years, very rarely do you ever do 20 years. Depending on what kind of crime it is, if it involved a deadly weapon or not, what other factors there were, oftentimes you'll only do half, maybe 60, 70%. Now, deadly weapon, I think in Texas, for example, I think you have to do 80 or 85%.
Yeah.
But in many cases, it's half to 2/3, you know, and so. You know, that's one of those things where if we're talking about parole, is letting someone out in 8 versus 10, is that really a big deal? I mean, you know, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's a very tough, it's a tough area depending. It's case by case. Yeah. There's no one size fits all. And I know when the legislature writes these things out, they kind of make it seem like it is, but there's no way that's why they have these parole boards. That's why we have this stuff, because there has to be, I mean, you know, we've talked about this before. Maybe at some point this will be AI that makes these decisions. But I mean, at this point, you know, it's a human, you know, kind of decision.
I try to put myself in the shoes of like, Bailey, could you be one of those people in a parole hearing and actually argue, I think you should let him out? You know, let's say he did an incredible crime against one of my loved ones, one of you guys. I mean, could I, in like 15 years, I don't know. I try to put myself in those shoes. And I also put myself in the shoes of those who, let's say somebody committed an incredibly egregious crime, who has the right and should have the voice and the public space to speak about how that impacted them. To a parole board, not to a jury, not to a judge. We're talking about parole. It's a completely different branch, right?
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I kind of have feelings this way and that way. It's like, to me, it's a public forum. Maybe that's why I like it and I don't like it, is because it's like, it's so human. It's so tangible.
Yeah, it's very human.
It's not very restricted by so many regulations like we see in court. Maybe that's why I get a little feelies about parole. Is like, and for me, I lean on, the dude did 13 years out of 20. Give him a chance. If he messes up, he's going to be on so many conditions. You know, he'll mess up and then he'll be right back in, you know, stuck like Chuck. So to me, I lean more, let him out. Just give him a chance and That's kind of my bias.
Yeah,
That's my bias. I'm being
and if he
very
fails
honest with you
again,
guys.
just leave him in there until his
Yeah.
time is served.
And my argument is not that the family shouldn't get a chance to have a say. I wish, and this is rich coming from me because I'm a very emotional person. I don't like seeing emotions win the day. And I feel like emotions win the day more often than not. You know, the despondent mother, the heartbroken daughter comes up and tugs on the heartstrings of that parole board, and then, you know, all the work that the inmate has done to rehabilitate himself. You know, he just remains at the lowest point of his life forever, using generally, not all of them are men.
Lindsay.
They just remain at the lowest point of their life no matter what they do because of the feelings of these people. And not that they don't have a right to feel that way. They absolutely have the right to feel that way. They can hate that man for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
It's the emotions winning the day for me that always makes me upset. If the guy has proven himself, if he's taken the classes, if he's done well as an inmate, especially if he stayed out of trouble, because that's not easy in prison.
No.
Don't ask me how I know. No, I watch a lot of Lockup. I watch a lot of Lockup back when I was on during the day, and it's not easy.
I know a guy. I know a friend.
I know a couple guys. No, it's not easy for these guys to stay out of trouble. You know, they put one toe out of line, and you know they're in ad seg. If they've truly proven themselves, why do your feelings get to trump that? I understand you're hurt.
Yeah.
I encourage you to seek therapy.
It's kind of a cloak over the whole concept of the rehabilitation part. It just
if these guys know no matter what they do, the guy's wife saying I don't forgive you means I'm going to stay in. Then why do I bother taking the class? Why do I not, you know, make a shiv out of a toothbrush and
Oh my goodness. Oh yes.
Michelle asked, "What about inmates
with
that are
blue eyes?" And turns out she's done time. No,
inmates that are priests.
That would be just the same. That would be the same in my mind.
Well, so
Michelle, can you elaborate on that? I'm curious what you mean about that. Inmates that are priests.
Michelle. Inmates that are religious.
Oh, the Jesus blanket thing?
Yeah. So you talk
priests that have committed crimes and are in. Those are two very different
that
subjects.
were once in the church that are so okay. So this, I mean, you talk about going down a big rabbit hole.
Oh, the church stuff. Oh,
that's
Michelle is very much
Sidebar.
Michelle is not quite at Bailey's level of going down the rabbit hole, but I think she's making a run for it because this is the kind of thing that you what? Oh, okay. So this is one of those things that you could go on and do a separate show about entirely, and that is because Bailey talks about this a lot. Remember that case where the guy wrapped himself in the Jesus blanket? Dan, Bailey, and myself pretty much lost our collective crap over that. Yeah. And now that guy wasn't like a priest, but he sure sounded like it. He sold a bill of goods about Jesus and he found gold and it was 1,000 points of light and it was just one of those things. Oh, dear Lord, it's a demon bird. And it was unbelievable. And, you know, those guys and that Miss Ledoux,
She eats out with a spoon. They don't have to prove that they've done anything except for Jesus into their heart.
I don't like
they
that.
They had parole boners for that guy like you wouldn't believe.
It bothers me.
They should be.
I have seen
so many people excuse heinous stuff because, but that guy accepted Jesus as a savior, so white cloak forever.
And I mean, I will give it to this.
Maybe it works that way in some areas.
Or I got a friend who's a police chief.
Even if they have gotten, you know, they found Jesus and stuff, that's great.
Yeah.
But all Christians fall like they. So that's not a reason why you should just let somebody out because of that. No.
Yeah, that guy, he could have sold a freezer to an Eskimo. He was
They're not
just
perfect either.
perfectly, he was perfectly articulate in that. I mean, if he gets out, car salesman, whatever, snake oil, insurance, whatever, his sales job is definitely in his future because he said all the right buzzwords, ding, 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 right down the line. So. I don't know.
Yeah.
People like that scare the hell out of me because
Yeah,
some of those people, they learn in prison how to talk and how to say the right things. They get a hold of one of those jailhouse lawyers that we've talked about in previous episodes.
Oh, like me. Yeah.
Yes, and
Hypothetically in jail. Yes.
Yes, hypothetical
Bailey's
Bailey in
running
jail,
the
which of
hustle.
course would never happen. Bailey would never go to jail. Bailey is so pure as the driven snow. But
That's right.
if he did, Bailey always says that he would be the guy that would do that. He would be the snake oil salesman that would go
Right
before
now,
the
I can
board and be
afford
like,
my own ramen. I can afford my own ramen. I'm stocked up, so.
well,
Glad to hear it.
so,
Or he
so
might
yeah,
be a jailhouse lawyer or something. Then I don't know.
so I don't know. Michelle, yeah, so that's for sure. I think, when you're talking about people like that, it's one of those know your audience things. Like he knew his audience.
Yeah.
He knew that he was going
Yeah.
before a bunch of old religious white folks in Louisiana, and he's just
But we
going to go
saw
up there.
right
Yeah.
through it, man. I was like,
Of course we
no.
did.
We saw
Yeah,
through it.
But they
You
didn't.
could see right through that like grandma's underwear. But I'm just saying it was. It was.
No. Too far. Michael.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that expression before. Sorry.
Oh,
I got Lindsay.
Whoa, that was
that broke me.
unexpected.
That did it.
Oh my.
It's-
Okay.
Anyway,
It's been a fun week.
No,
It
it's been a
has
fun
been.
week, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Dan's gonna be like, what did I
Dan's
leave my
never
show
gonna go on
to?
vacation again.
Yeah, he'll never leave
I have
again.
to draw it back.
He'll do the show from the car. He'll do the show from the plane. He'll do the show from underwater,
Hospital bed.
scuba diving.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna be like, oh gosh.
Oh my.
Anyway.
I kinda needed
Anyway,
that. Thanks. But
yes, but we laugh because we love here. But no, this is just going to be one of those things. I don't know if we'll ever resolve it because again, and it's so. I think Barbara said something like she'd love to see how they do this in Texas. I'd love to see the other parole boards too.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, I would. Yes, definitely. And see how everybody kind of does it. And then that
And
way
we
we're
can
not
all
biased
say-
to one parole board.
And Lindsay's like, well, we got to divorce ourselves from the emotion of it. And I said that the other night about when we were talking about, kind of in a similar vein.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's impossible because judges are
I
humans,
understand that.
parolees, parole board people, we're all humans. And you hear about how something impacted somebody. And there's no way to just go, well, I'm left with permanent scars and ignore the fact that they're sitting there crying about it and saying, I can't, my right foot doesn't work anymore. I can't really get a job. I was an Olympic athlete. And
I
now,
take left steps all day because my right foot's broken.
Right. And now I have to put on a prosthetic foot just to get a can of soup out of the cupboard. I mean, it's like, it's horrendous. So I don't know how you divorce yourself from that. So I don't think that's ever, it's a great theory.
Yeah.
But I just don't,
I understand.
I don't think
there's no way. It's something I think it's always going to bother me. It's
And
the
parole-
emotional of ruling the day. And
Parole-
I can
sure.
be bothered all I want,
Parole boards can't be appealed, can they? Like you can't appeal.
I don't think you can appeal it.
No.
I think you can just wait until the next time you're up for eligibility and
What is that every
Right.
year? I don't know how that works.
I'm sure it depends on the state. I think in Louisiana, they always say it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they always end it in a very kind of abrupt way. It's like, okay, and this hearing has ended at 5:50 p.m. Thank you.
So it's not
Quick,
like
and then
they're
we see
waiting,
that guy
done.
scream.
it's not
It's
like they're
done.
waiting 5 or 10 years. So that's
It's
Yeah.
good.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it depends on the state. Ashley, I don't know how it works in every, but I just know in the
Yeah.
Louisiana Board of Paroles and Pardons, it's 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
And you're, and when you're eligible depends on the crime and all a
Right.
bunch of other stuff. But, and sometimes
Okay.
people come up and they'll just say, we don't in favor of you getting out. It's just been too soon. So we're going to go ahead. My vote today is due decline. But, but then 2 years later, they might say,
Yeah, they come
okay,
with 2
you've
years
done your
later.
time.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, look, if someone's good at 10 years, they're good at 12 years. This is always my argument about, the stupid Hall of Fame
I'm putting that
in
in
sports.
perspective now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, if you're good enough to be in the Hall of Fame, you're good enough to be in the Hall of Fame. Time doesn't make it better. To me, it's like, okay, if you've done 12 years, what next year, the crime doesn't change. The circumstances around it don't change. If
Yeah.
you've already done all the classes you can do.
That's an interesting kind of thought that I've had now, though. Is like, do they have a certain number that they're allowed to release per year, and that may be how they make that decision?
Like a quota?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, you don't make the Hall of Fame on your first ballot because you were in there with 7 other equally talented guys. Yeah, I agree. But like, they'll get on the next voting. Like, do they have like they can only?
I don't think
it's something
so.
that we aren't privy to. Pleads on the internet.
This is weird. I found out parole board members are appointed. They're not elected by the governor's office. They're not elected officials.
I think we found that out. I think we talked about that last time, maybe.
I did not pick that up. Okay. So this is
somehow
crazy.
I think I knew that.
So these old people who are friends of the governor,
right?
They are deciding. It's like if you have found Jesus, and by the way, Louisiana's governor is Republican. I just found looked that up. If you found Jesus and you have a police chief in your back pocket, you're gonna get a governor's clemency or parole.
Probably.
With this board. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's so
we'd be
personal
idiots
and
to think that there's not politics involved.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's great. I love
I'm
it.
sure any elected official, there's politics involved.
Yeah, any state.
Right.
Yes.
Red, blue, green, purple, yellow. Any state, there's going to be sway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
if I was in California, I'd be up there and I would be like, yeah, man, cool, man. When I get out, go blue and like cool, bro. And I'm going to hug a tree and I'm going to, yeah, bro. And and if I'm in a red state, I'm going to be like, yeah, man, Trump. And when I get out, I'm going to go out and stump for Trump. And I'm going to go out there and get the biggest truck I can find. I'm going to go get myself some
church every Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go to church every Sunday and then drink a whole fifth of scotch right afterwards. I'll tell you that right now. Yeehaw,
That's why I sing the different boards. That's also why.
Yeah,
because
I would love
if
to
I was
see
going to see a New York parole board or in contrast to Louisiana parole
I'm
board,
afraid you're too much of a
different.
scumbag. We can't let you out this time. Hey,
Is there a
hey, don't
parole
cry
board
about it.
with
What are you,
someone
little
under
baby?
the age
Hey.
of 70 is also my question.
Capiche?
With all due respect to the Louisiana Board of Parole and all that, they're all up there in years, and I get it. They're retired law enforcement, but
they're still part.
Lindsay.
there's a lot of boomer in that room.
Up there in years is a gross understatement.
We talked about that.
You know how you referenced
walk back my.
You know how you referenced the Magna Carta the other night? I think Miss Ledoux saw it. I'm pretty sure Mr. Prater
I think
brought King John.
Oh my! I think if they had a mix, Lindsay, I think if they had a mix of younger and older people on that panel, I think it would be quite.
And I'm not saying that the younger people would be more forgiving. I'm just saying it would bring an additional perspective.
But if we,
I don't know. I'm actually in favor of that. I'd want someone that's maybe somebody that doesn't know Ulysses S. Grant. I'd like somebody a little bit younger. That's just me, but you know,
No
maybe someone that
This guy is out of
Parole
jail.
board. Take it down
So-
a notch. It's
so one
okay.
thing-
We're
Yeah.
just talking.
I may want to run for governor of a state, executive of a state. To me, I want that power to appoint my parolee board. If I'm going to be given that power by
Yeah.
the Constitution, the state,
So
the
who's your
federal Constitution, and the
who's
state
your
constitution.
parolee board? Like, is it people you feel could make the best decisions, or people that make the
I
decisions
don't
you
know.
would make?
Apparently, as a governor, I'm allowed to just pick whoever I want. I could pick you, as
I
long
think
as
that's per
probably
state,
you're
too.
Arizona residents and you live here. But I would
That's
trust
not
all
likely
you
to
guys
happen,
to.
but I appreciate the nomination.
Yeah, I mean, that would
You
be
just
kind of
sit
cool.
there, Lindsay,
So
and judge
to
people.
me,
Yeah.
we can't.
And I'm not
pick and
moving to
choose.
Arizona. Love you all, but no, hard no.
Right. So to the state of Louisiana, we respect you. We respect your system. Your the people
Yeah.
on the board that
Yeah.
we kind of get. And so go
Yeah.
for it. You got a big job to do. But yeah, we got some feelings at the same time. We've got some
Lindsay, you
feelings
don't
at
want
the
to be you don't want to be on Bailey's parole board.
I would love to be on Bailey's parole board if I didn't have to move to Arizona to do it.
That means
Ah.
you're going to be a governor.
Remote parole,
Awesome.
remote
Yeah.
parole board.
Total outside perspective, like
Well, yeah, why
I
not?
live 1,000 miles away. Let's talk about letting
I'm
this
sure
guy
they
out.
exist.
Yeah. And I mean, if all else fails, I could just do a bunch of different voices and sound like different people on the parole board. My vote today is to parole.
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid my vote, mate, is to decline. No. So, I mean, we could just do different, whatever.
Love it.
So, I don't know.
As long
I
as you
think
stream that on YouTube, your views would be like through the roof.
I think so. I think we could. Well, that's what they do. So, and
Yeah.
they get lots of people watching over there, and then we put it on TCF, and they.
Yeah. You bootleg
I don't
it,
know.
blast it out on another channel, and
Well, so we've learned a lot here. Bailey is going to run for office.
Maybe. We'll see.
And Pepto's in the chat tonight, by the way, everybody. We haven't seen Pepto
What?
in a while.
Oh, hi Pepto.
Yeah, Pepto's in there.
You.
We've missed you.
Yes.
Office
It's been a
life
minute.
life.
I know Pepto's been he's been busy. If I'm not mistaken, I think he wasn't feeling well. And
Oh,
if I remember right, I know we haven't seen him in a while, so it's good to see Pepto back here again.
so
I mean, maybe he'll be a part of Bailey's executors since he's planning his big run for governor. You gonna run for governor in this state, Bailey?
Arizona, we'll see which state. And because I'm thinking long term, I'm thinking when I'm in my 50s, I might be running for a much, much, much higher office.
Oh,
All right.
all right.
Yeah,
Bailey's gonna go for a higher office.
that's right.
All right. So we've learned a lot tonight, everybody. This has been that I disagree. We've learned a lot. We've gotten a lot of perspectives here.
Some good laughs.
We've had some good laughs. I think that's what this show is really all about. You know what? We don't have to solve anything as long as we're entertaining to other people, or at the very least, entertaining to each other.
Yeah.
So
And we don't get
that's what
Dan's
matters.
channel taken down.
And so far, I know it's only been 4 days that I've been kind of running the show here, but so far we haven't been delisted. We haven't been thrown off the platform.
All right.
And
Do what Grandma's underwear did for the.
oh my.
Oh,
please, that's not even like the 10th worst thing that's been said on here.
That's true.
Bailey holds all those.
I don't know why that kills me. Oh god, that's so.
It's
funny.
just been such a long week. I think that just was like the straw on the camel's back for all.
Well, yeah, I know, Lindsay. It's been tough for all of us. I know for you, it's been tough.
Yeah.
That's that could be a sidebar to a sidebar to a sidebar, but
That.
oof,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's rough for Pepto too.
Oh man, Pepto.
I didn't. Hold on. What did he say?
He said
Long
the
story
owner
short,
of his
the owner of
firm
my
quit.
firm quit.
Oh.
So I'm keeping things afloat. I'll definitely join Bailey. There you go. You got
There you
one,
go.
Bailey.
Oh man, Pepto, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm very sorry to hear that.
That's sad.
Well, that's what's going on, man. That's part of our community right there. So we've seen it all tonight. Well,
Keep it strong.
this has been an exciting episode. Now, next Tuesday, we should talk about this real quick. I will not be able to be here because of a prior commitment. Plus, I also have another programming note about Sidebar.
Wait, you're breaking up with me? I thought we had a date next Tuesday, man.
Bailey, let's. You know what? This is one of those things.
That broke
You're
Michael.
breaking.
He didn't. Right. He had no. Snappy.
Don't go breaking my heart.
You gotta tell everybody in public about you're breaking our commitments. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, Bailey, I could give it to you like Judge Middleton here. Just, I could tell you a whole long story about this, Bailey, this all started back in 1997. There was a song that was released by an artist named Meryl Bainbridge. I don't know if you remember Meryl Bainbridge. She had a song called Mouth. When I Kiss Your Mouth, I could sing it for you. The lyrics... we could do that, but I that's where it all started in the Lilith Fair. You might remember the Lilith Fair, and there was a Sean Colvin. She had a song, "Sonny Came Home." It was a great song. Sonny came home to her favorite place. Sonny sat down in the kitchen, Bailey, and that's why we can't be together next Tuesday. The lyrics of that song are very. I should turn this stream off, but I just don't want to turn the damn thing back on again. That's why I'm just talking.
I'm sorry. It's,
I think Michael deserves a well-deserved break.
Yeah, Michael clearly needs a night off.
Yeah, no, he gets a night off.
He's starting to snap a little.
No, this is how I am all the time, unfortunately. You guys are just seeing this is my normal personality. If I ever just came in here and just was totally straight-laced and didn't crack any jokes, that's when you should start to worry.
So, thank you for keeping the lights
Barbara
on.
Barbara with the $5 super chat, everybody. There you go. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Barbara's awesome. So, you're what? Next Tuesday you're going to not be here?
So anyway, next Tuesday next Tuesday night, got another thing I got to do. But we'll be back next Thursday. So a week from tonight, I'll still be here to host.
I'm not getting paid next Tuesday?
Oh, please, Bailey, you'll still get your 3 farthings. Don't worry about that.
You guys are getting
everybody. Oh, we forgot to tell Lindsay. No, of course not. Sir, can I have my 3 farthings? No, get back to work. So that's also another programming note for next week is that at least in Arizona, and those of you that do not observe the time change, the return to standard time, this show starts an hour later for those of you. For everybody else, it's on at the normal time. Most of you aren't affected by this announcement, but if you're here in Arizona, Sidebar, for example, which starts at 5, normally will start at 6 p.m. So just thought I'd let you know with the time change, there's that concern as well.
And if you've already made the time change, it will go back to the time it was before you all changed.
But yes,
time.
that's true.
And then there's
European and Australian friends. Say it again.
Doesn't that involve Alaska too, Michael? Since they don't switch time. Well, no,
but they do. They do switch times. Hawaii does not.
Hawaii doesn't.
Oh, Hawaii doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, gotcha. Or if you're in Hawaii.
Yep.
Oh, and Pepto with the courtroom files with more memberships as well. So
yeah,
thank you, Pepto.
That helps the channel as well. Man, this has actually been a very productive sidebar. We may not have solved a lot, but we've sure helped the channel.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Pepto with the banner, 4 months being certified member. I mean,
Oh, wow.
part of the dude
Yeah.
hanging out.
I love it.
Certified law
I
junkie.
love it.
And he gifted 5 memberships too.
Yeah. So, everybody, even though we didn't solve a whole lot, we had a lot of fun, and that's what matters. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Final thoughts, Bailey.
To the listeners out there, by the way, we just have a new member who just came in, NAYS Mini 4556. Love your channel. Hey, thank you for stopping in. I want to say
Like the
to
handle.
the Soul family out there on the road, I hope you're having a great time. You're coming together and you're, having and we're keeping the lights on. Mike's keeping the lights on.
Mike's keeping the
I'm
lights
just
on.
showing up and being a goofball, and
No, you guys are all helping
just-
out, and I
I get
appreciate
to
it.
run my mouth and do that part. So, but thank you to Mike, dude. Thank you so much.
No, thank you
all
guys.
the hard work that you do are behind the scenes, because I had no idea how much engineering goes behind to keep these
A lot.
things going. So, thank you so much.
Lindsay?
To the people of the state of Louisiana, thank you for your transparency and sharing your parole board hearings with us so that we could pick them apart for an hour and change, and make fun of your parole board for being elderly. My point being, thank you so much for letting us have a view into that. And thank you for everyone tuning in tonight and watching. And thank you, Michael, for keeping the lights on. Dan, I hope you're having a safe trip. Megan,
Yes.
again, congratulations on your wedding on Sunday. Thanks, everyone.
And Ashley.
Thank you all that's in the chat tonight, and those that are watching. I know that it's kind of been a weird week with Dan being gone, but you guys are amazing, and Michael, you're amazing. Thank you so much for being able to have us hosting this so we can have Sidebar, and also that and all the live shows and everything. So thank you for all you do. I know it's very time consuming and not something you do very often. So I appreciate you. And yeah, I think I'm also sorry to the parole board as well. Thank you for the good discussions.
Sorry to the parole.
Sorry for calling you old.
Sorry for
I think an
insinuating that you saw the
apology is
Battle of
due.
Hastings. I'm
Your
sorry.
Your job is extremely hard, and you have to make choices every single day that impact people's lives.
Yeah.
And we can all laugh about it and everything, but that's what
Yes.
you're doing. So I commend you for it. And any law enforcement out there, I commend you too, because you're doing the exact same thing. So that's what I have to say, and I'll see you guys later.
Well said.
And so yes, one final thought from me is want to wish an early birthday to my OAO, Michelle.
Oh,
Michelle.
It is.
Happy.
It is. What's that, Michelle?
Halloween?
Oh, we got a $10 super chat there from
Lindsay.
LA. Oh, from Lindsay.
That's me.
Oh, thank you, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate that.
Self-care.
The problem is when we don't, since YouTube changed how they do this now, and they don't have the names that show, they just show the handles now.
Yeah.
You get confused. But yes, that was Lindsay. Thank you so much. So, Michelle, happy birthday tomorrow. Her birthday's on Halloween.
Halloween
And
birthday.
yes,
Happy birthday.
Halloween birthday. So that's tomorrow.
Cool.
And I just want to thank you guys. I'm just the monkey pushing the buttons and doing all that stuff. You guys really drive this ship. I just try to make it avoid the iceberg is pretty much all I do, and we'll see how well that works out. But no, I really thank you guys for all that you do to help out. You guys here on Sidebar, Lindsay, Ashley, Bailey, Michelle, everybody else, and then everybody in the chat too, Barbara and Austin and Pepto and all of you guys that have joined us tonight. So thank you so much for doing all that. And Dan, good luck.
Yeah.
And safe travels. And Megan, congratulations on your wedding. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. East, 7 a.m. Pacific, 45 minutes early for channel members. Dan will be there for the pre-show, and then I'll have the main show. And then next week, we'll come back on Thursday night for another exciting edition of Sidebar. Until then, good night, everybody.
Happy Super Friday.
Bye.
Super Friday.